Hi everyone, I'm Roberta, and this week I'm back with Mark Smith. He is a motivational speaker, a podcaster, and a radio show host. Today, he is going to share with us what it's going to take for us to be able to overcome the challenges we face on a daily basis and how to thrive in the lives that we live. And before I go any further, please help me welcome Mark Smith. Hi, Mark.
Hello, good afternoon, Roberta. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
I'm grateful that you're here with us today. So you said earlier that your coaches, when you were young and playing sports, used to pick you to motivate your teammates. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I really don't. I mean, 'cause I thought I was just just an average guy. And when you play sports, it's all about the team. It's about doing what needs to be done for everybody to succeed. But my coaches would come to me and say, you know what, Mark? What I need you to do is I need you to be our coach on the field. I need you to be the one to help motivate everybody else inside that huddle to get the guys to believe that they can push forward and do what they need to do. So I did. I just would tell them, hey guys, you need to push forward. That we can do this. We need to rally around each other. We need to be supportive of each other. And most of all, we can't give up. We have to continue to find it within ourselves. And that transcended. I mean, that seemed like that transcended in everything that I did in life after that.
Wow, for them to spot that in you at such a young age, they must have already seen something really special. So is that the reason that later in your life, which is what you're doing now, that you became a motivational speaker?
Well, I tell everybody, I don't think I chose that career. I think that career chose me. And it just became the way that the way my careers have turned out. I mean, I left high school and college and started in the world of education. I started out as an admissions representative at the University of Phoenix, and actually wrote a story in the series The Process about that journey. But I did. I would work at 6 o'clock in the morning to 3 p.m. in the afternoon on the phone, listen to people, talking to them about the power of education, what it does to change their lives. And from there, from that point, I mean, I met some amazing, some dynamic people, and it just kept going. I had the opportunity to listen to their stories, tell them my stories. And pretty soon, it got to the point where people were calling, requesting, hey, can we speak to Mark Smith? We want to talk to Mark Smith because he has uplifting words about life and what he does. So I guess it just continued to be an evolution in my life.
So they didn't just want you for the job, but actually the way you made them feel at the end of the call.
And that's, I always said that, you and I talked about a little bit earlier. I guess I realized that I had the power to leave people bitter or better. See, early in my life, we have the power to leave people bitter. I have the power to leave them better. Yeah, it's our choice. So early in life, Roberta, I had to go back and really look about how I was truly living my life. And there's an old saying when I teach and I talk about the workforce development, I use the acronym WIFM, what's in it for me. And a lot of times as I was growing up, I had to think about, I was living life just like that. How was I going to, what was that person or what was this entity? What was it going to do for me? Why should I be, where was my benefit coming in? But as I grew older, I'm not gonna say older, as I grew wiser, right? We don't get older, we get wiser. As I get wiser, I realized that I was living life transactional. Meaning, again, what's in it for me?
What am I going to get? What am I going to get?
Absolutely. But then as I got wiser again, I realized that that's not the way life is supposed to be. Life is supposed to be lived transformational. So that's when I looked at exactly what I was doing, what I was saying, and making sure that was going to be something that is going to help somebody get to the levels of which they truly wanted to get to. So transactional, from transactional to transformational.
It's interesting you say that, because I find that a lot of us, we do this, what am I going to get, thinking it's going to fulfill us. Why doesn't it?
I think because society teaches us to be selfish. I mean, we see from social media. What do we see on social media? We see people getting things. We see high profile celebrities in the 5-star restaurants with the huge vehicles, with the mansions everywhere. And we think, why can't we? We deserve that. And really and truthfully, life is simplistic. We convoluted. We want that stuff, and that stuff is really, honestly, is not for us. I always talk about my life journey. Roberta. And I'm 57 years old. I'm proud that I have plenty of friends who didn't make it to my age. But for
Right.
40 years of my life, I used a lot of what I call stinking thinking. And when I talked about the transactional aspect of things, I wasn't at peace with myself. So to imagine going into 40 years of your life not really having the ability to sleep in peace is a long time. And it's a lot of life lessons that you have to learn going through that path. So I was the one that wanted to keep up, the old saying, try to keep up with the Joneses, trying to make sure
Yes.
that I had
Which a
the
lot of
best
us
fun.
do. And I don't think, just for anyone listening, I don't think we are knocking the being ambitious or wanting more for your life. No, that's not what this is. But
No,
there's something that when we become obsessed with getting the outside stuff and thinking it's gonna fill whatever hole we feel inside, that's where the missing link is.
it's stuff. At the end of the day, it's just stuff. I mean, we all see it. We've seen people who amass it. We've seen people who just who let it go to waste as well. It's what makes you happy. At the end of the day, you have to be happy within. I do an exercise, and we were talking just a minute ago. I do an exercise with the young men and women in Baltimore, and I asked them, "What is the most valuable piece of furniture in your house?" And I hear my bed, my refrigerator, my cap. Some of the men tell me my big screen TV, right? I tell them, I understand what I understand. I understand what you're talking about, guys. But when we break down, I said, no, the most valuable piece of furniture in your house should be your mirror. Because that's where you're going to really form who you truly are. And you can run from a lot of people, but you can't run from yourself. So your self-portrayal, when you first wake up, when you first walk out of there, is what you're going to carry and what you're going to impact people with throughout the course of the day. Again, we have that option to leave you bitter or leave you better by our own demeanor.
That mirror one is so powerful when I think about it, because you know how sometimes, which I've done over the course of my life at times, is you always think that if I just move to a new area, I'm going to run away from my problems. And wherever you are, they're just there with you.
That's it. They sure do.
They are with you. Yes, you can move. And yes, sometimes moving and starting in a new era and starting a new life and living whatever was behind that you didn't gel with anymore, it can work to a certain extent. But those things inside of you that you thought you were leaving behind, some of them, because like you said, the mirror, it's all you're always there with yourself.
And it's tough. I've done it. I mean, I've changed locations. I mean, from Ohio to Arizona to California to the Washington D.C. area, which I'm currently reside at. They were for, again, different reasons. Job opportunities. One, I got a divorce and then became remarried. So they were all different reasons. But the thing what I hope everybody realizes, there is nothing wrong with relocating. Sometimes you have to get that fresh air, and you have to reinvent yourself, so to speak, by relocating certain places. But don't forget that there are some things that you should take from where you were that you should learn from. There's, that definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. Right. So you just make sure that you're taking the steps to progress. I always say, change is comfort is a casualty of growth. So you always want to make sure that you're growing, no matter what you're doing, no matter what your outlook on life is. Growth is so important in making sure that you're whole inside and out.
Yeah. And speaking of fresh starts, one of the things that can be a fresh start as well is who you surround yourself with. As you grow, the people you surround yourself with and the influence that they have on you. As you grow, maybe you need to evaluate and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm taking a fresh start in my life. I'm taking different trajectory of where I'm going. And so is this still resonating? Are these relationships still nourishing me the way that I expect to be nourished as I go on a different route?
Absolutely. I can't agree with you more. I mean, I ask a question a lot of times when I do speeches. I ask people to raise their hands. Raise their hands if you feel that everybody leans on you for everything. Are you the smartest one in the bunch? Raise your hand. A lot of people raise your hand. I said, everybody raise their hand. Yeah, I'm the smartest one. I'm the smartest one. I said, you need to change your circle. You don't have a circle. You have a cage. You have a cage, because how can you expect to grow yourself internally. You need to be tapping into to some other energy and surrounding yourself with other individuals, because
You learn something new.
yeah, absolutely. How can you grow? You can't grow with you trying to fix everybody else's problems. You can't do it. You need to make sure that are getting energy, getting support, getting knowledge from others all the time. And that's what, that's a tough lesson that I had to learn as well as a young adult. Is, these not all of the friends are friends. Not all the people who are designed to be good for you are good for you. And sometimes sometimes it hurts to say, but sometimes that's family as well. Family blood does not identify your support. It's not always your best support system. So it's always about learning to make sure that you're holistic inside and out.
Right. That's because I know it fits the ego. Listen, we all want to sound smarter than everybody around us. It's the ego. It's the human in us. But like Richard Branson said, he's a billionaire because he hires smart people who are smarter than him. So if you are with people who are smarter than you, it's going to take you to the next level.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I believe President Obama made a comment like that as well. He said, how did you pick your staff? He said, because I want people that are smarter than me. I don't know everything. I'm not going to profess to know everything, but the people around me are the ones that are experts in those areas. I rely on them.
Right. So take us through the process. What tell us about your process?
Well, the process is it's a journey. It is truly, it's a lifelong journey of things that everybody goes through, from again, losing a job, losing family, losing career, changing careers. But it started back in 2018 when I lost my job. I thought that let me back up. My story is something that I write about a lot. I say that change is hard at first, messy in the middle, but rewarding at the end. So I'm gonna break all three of those down for a second.
Say that again, please.
Yeah, change is hard at first, messy in the middle, but rewarding at the end.
Rewarding at the end. I like that.
So back in 2018, I was I was a career development specialist for a for-profit school. So my task or my job was to help young men and young women get jobs. So I would sit down, help them with the resume. We'd have dialogue. I would connect with employers. I did a lot of outreach on things to help bring employers in. Well, in December of 2018, I am just coming back inside my office, and I call it the money light. Anybody has their office, they see that red light on, that voicemail light. Okay, this is somebody's calling to request the services of one of my graduates.
Right.
So I did. There were two very good calls: a doctor out of Johns Hopkins Hospital and the chief engineer from a major manufacturing plant, Dietz and Watson, in the Baltimore area. They wanted electricians, and the Johns Hopkins wanted medical assistants. So I'm thinking, great, I'm continuing to build alliances and relationships. My campus president came and knocked on my door and said, "Mark, I need to see you in my office." Like most of us, when we get that type of knock, we think something's wrong. What did you do? You want to see me in my office? And he had that stern look. When I walked in, when he walked in, he said, and everybody else was in there. He said, "We are closing our doors. The school is closing, but we're closing today at 5 o'clock. And more importantly, you need to go tell."
Wow.
Nothing. You need to go tell the students today. So I found myself wrapped up in a maze of, what am I going to do? Well, this is the lowest. I've never lost a job before. I quit jobs. Jobs didn't quit me. I never that had never happened to me. So I went through a transition in December, because like I said, it was right before Christmas. So I went through a transitional time. I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I'm not a young man. And I know from teaching interviewing skills and teaching what the demand of the market is, some people, and there is such thing as workforce discrimination. So they may look at an elderly gentleman and say, he's good, but we can't pay him. We can't pay him what he's worth. There's no way. So I had to make decisions of what do I truly want to do with my life. And my wife encouraged me to sit back and go and start fulfill one of my dreams that I always did. I'm a writer. I jot her down. I have thousands and thousands of pieces of paper and tablets of things that I've written down or ideas. And she said, you need to get that out there. And I said, okay, maybe you're right. Maybe it is time to be different, to embark on what one of my dreams, fulfill my dream for a change. So
Right.
then I started writing, and the very first episode that I written about, and recorded was something that I said, we need a foundation. All of us, no matter what we go through in life, there has to be base camp, there has to be home, there has to be something that keeps us centered. So I said, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to use acronyms. So the first acronym that I wrote about in the very first series of the process, which was called the foundation, I wrote is called AIR. And I said, when I told her that, she said, yeah, that's pretty generic. What can you do to make it different? I said, how about I add another R, AIRR. And I said,
ARRR, which stands for
AIRR stands for accountability, integrity, responsibility, and respect. That is a foundation.
Integrity, responsibility, respect. Yeah.
That is a foundation of what we all need to have as we move forward. You have to be accountable. You can't blame. I could have blamed the system. I could have said that, these individuals knew they were closing the doors. They could have came to me and told me what was going on. But I had to take accountability because I allowed myself to be stagnant in that world and stagnant inside that entity to make sure that nothing else, I wasn't growing. I was stuck. I was stuck right there. Integrity. And we all know that integrity is about doing the things that you should be doing even when nobody's watching. Exactly. Right? Whether my wife told.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just on the integrity point, which is lately one of my pet peeves, doing what you said you will. If your word is gonna mean anything, if people are gonna trust you, can we just go back to the era where people do what they say they will do?
Absolutely, I agree. So, one of the things that my wife said that she told me, she said, Mark, one of the reasons why I fell in love with you is because the things that you do for the elderly. See, I will never let an elderly person carry their bags. I will stop. Well,
that's how we grew up. We used to stop playing on the street, go to the bus when the grandma's got groceries, and she didn't carry a thing, and we'll take them to her house and then go back.
That's right. So the integrity piece, so accountability and integrity, then responsibility. We always say a lot of times, and I used to use the old adage, not my monkey, not my circus. Meaning it's not my problem, but the fact of the matter is everything that goes on inside of society, I'm responsible for the young men and women in Baltimore, Maryland. I am. I'm responsible to help them make some change inside their lives. See, some people don't want to take that responsibility. It is mine because I want my grandchildren to see a better world. I want my great-grandchildren one day to see a better world. So it becomes all of our responsibility. Get off the couch, get off the bench, to do something about it. And the last and most important thing which our society is failing on is respect. Accountability, integrity, responsibility, and respect. We don't respect each other. We may not agree on our thought processes or what we truly believe in, but I owe you that respect to have your opinion, not get mad, not go get a gun and shoot, not vandalize your property. Just take the opportunity to listen to your word and what you're talking about, and just agree to disagree. That's fine. That's your thought process.
Isn't this freedom of speech country?
But it's respect. Respect
at the each other's different opinions. And when did it? That's why I think social media does that in the sense that I don't know. Obviously, there's a lot of algorithms and money being made in people disagreeing and trolling. The word trolling, and just having these fights, these computer keyboard fights.
It's a mess. It truly is a mess. It is a mess. So after I did that, I'm sorry. After I did that, I wrote in each one of the series or episodes. There's 6 different messages. Yeah. So I went on after I finished the foundation. I did the perfect storm, and it's funny that I launched that right at the same time COVID hit back in March of 2019. I launched that
when the perfect storm was coming.
The perfect storm. But again, if you think about it, this is truly the perfect storm. It gave people an opportunity. See, the playing field became level then. But the tough thing was what we talked about, and I wrote a message on it about your mirror. So you had to look at yourself then and take a self-assessment of where you were in life, because things slowed down. We had nothing but time. Nothing but time to truly work on ourselves.
The things we thought were secure were no longer secure.
That's right. That's right. So you had time to really work on things. And I wrote a message in there entitled Growth.
Mhm.
And that stands for gradual reminder, obstacles will test hope. Growth. So
Gradual.
gradual reminder, obstacles will test hope. Growth. So everything that we go through in life, sometimes we think it wasn't, it was a bad thing. It really wasn't. This was an obstacle that was testing your hope. And you came out stronger even though after you got
Mm,
through it.
mm,
You know, we are our track record, Roberta, of getting through things in our life is
true.
100%. If you're
We're
listening to
still
me,
here.
if you're listening to me, you're still here. It may not,
Yeah.
the result may not have been what you wanted, but you got through.
Right.
So that was an obstacle that tested your hope. So your hope is stronger. The
Mhm.
human spirit is tough to kill. So you just have to
Resilient.
remain.
Mm,
Yeah, you
mm,
have to remain vigilant in what you want to do. So I moved from that one to work after the perfect storm. I wrote a series called Where Do We Go From Here?
mhm.
And then I wrote another one called Why Not Me? And then I finished one called Procrastination and the Thief of Time. And
Oh
now
yeah.
working on a series called If I Only Knew Then What I Know Now. So there's
Oh
been
yeah.
six.
Talking to your younger self. Yes.
So there's been 6 messages so far of 10 that are coming. Once the
Mhm.
10th one is complete, I'm going to wrap it all up, put it in a book
Put it in a
format, and
book.
put it on a shelf for everybody to have an opportunity to go back and take a look at. So
I've been looking forward
that's
to
the
that book.
process.
Yeah, I've been so much looking forward to that. That's the thing is that I'm 46 now, and I say the one thing I love the girl I was in my 20s, but I wasn't as anything that happened, it would shake me because you think the world is
Mhm,
gonna end. You
mhm,
started adulthood. If something
mhm,
doesn't go according to plan, you think my life is over. Now it's like, okay, oh, this is also okay. Let's see what else is here. I'm not saying
Yeah,
everything is smooth nowadays, even when things happen, but I'm not as shaken as I used to be 20.
absolutely. You mature, and
Yeah.
I teach everybody when we talk, when we have conversation, the most powerful word that I wish I would have grasped younger as a young man. And my dad used to tell me
Mm.
all the time. He said, "Mark, I want you to remember this word. The word is next. Next.
Next.
No matter what happens, if you adapt that type of mentality of next, then you'll
Mm.
forget about it and you'll move on. Because it's just an
Right.
emotion. Everything we're going through is emotional, and we
Yes.
all know emotions are
It
temporary. They're
passes.
temporary.
You'd be
Yeah.
they all pass. That thing
Absolutely.
is just temporary. They all
Mhm.
pass. Mac,
Mhm.
thank you so much for taking us through the process. And
It's an
before
honor.
we close, all the wisdom you shared with us, where can we get more information? Please share with us where we can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can. You can find me on Facebook. I'm under Father and Friends, as well as on the business page, Father and Friends, as well as under Mark V. Smith. Also on Instagram under Within Your Process. I'm on
Within
LinkedIn.
your process on Instagram. Mhm.
I'm Mark Smith on LinkedIn, as well as you can find me under Mark Smith, The Process on YouTube. And of course, you can always connect with me on my website, which is theprocessmarksmith.com. Reach out to me, send me an email. Let me know how I can help you. Again, my job is to leave you better, never bitter.
Let's review those two acronyms again. AIR with the two R's.
Air, that's accountability, integrity, responsibility, and respect.
Correct. And
And
then
then
growth.
growth is gradual reminder, obstacles will test hope. Growth.
Mark, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.